Hey there, it's Robert here from EmpoweredLife.e. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are in the world today. Now, slight kind of movement away from the way I normally do things today, because I've had a few people saying, look, we want to know more about your story. We want to know more about how you came to do what you're doing now and all of that sort of stuff. And I guess I get it, because we as human beings, spiritual beings of course, we all want to feel connected. The irony is, in actual fact, that if you've been on the spiritual path for any period of time, you'll realise that we are in fact all connected. But as human beings, we have this perception of separateness. And yet we all crave, deep down, we all crave that connection. We all want to know about other people. We all want to see if they're like us and what similarities we've got, what we've got in common, all this sort of stuff. It's really weird, isn't it, that so many people feel this sense of separateness, and yet we all have an interest in others. We all want to see how they compare to us, how we're similar in so many ways, etc. Something worth thinking about, really. But on the spiritual level, as I say, anybody who's been around this for a long time, or a reasonable amount of time, will realise now that we are all one. We come from one energy source, we return to the same energy source when the physical body expires, all of that good stuff. So there really isn't any separateness. However, I've just got started and I've already digressed off the main subject. The main subject is really, how did I get started? How did I come to personal development, spiritual alignment, all the stuff that I'm so very passionate about, and all the stuff that I teach to others. How did I end up on that road? Well, it's a long old story, and I'll try and be as concise as I can. But as a young child, I suffered an awful lot at that time with low self-esteem. I just did, okay? And it was just one of those things. I'm sure I'm not the only one, I won't be the last one. I tended to spend all my time comparing myself to others, but not favourably. And I think a lot of us do that. And comparison is never a good thing to get involved with. You're always much better, and I've learned this since, comparing yourself to the best version of you. Okay? Don't compare yourself to other people, because people will only ever present the best version of themselves for you to look at. And that can be very, very misleading. Whereas you get to look at you, warts and all, right? So quite often, you don't compare very well. So just compare yourself to the best version of you. Seek to improve yourself all the time. And that's something that I learned quite early on, because I was on and off of antidepressants, all of that stuff. And it felt like I was in a place where kind of every time life seemed to be going the right way, I was waiting for things to go wrong. And it was because I didn't feel like I was worthy of what was happening. So I was really waiting for it to all sort of blow up, as it were, and come crashing down around my ears. And that's something I had to deal with. I went through the phase of kind of thinking that everybody was out to get me, that the world was against me, and it was so unfair, and that things were happening to me. Another lesson I had to learn was that things do not happen to you. You create them for yourself, on some level, at some point in time. And when that all really started to change for me was when my dad gave me a set of tapes by Jim Rohn. And something he said on one of the tapes was, you're the captain of your own ship. And that, the very thing I've just said, that, things don't happen to you, that really on some level you're creating them yourself. It's really the way, your attitude towards your life, the way you look at your world, the meanings that you attach to things. I bang on about this a lot now, and I won't get stuck into this now because this is not what this video is about, but essentially our entire life experience is dictated by the labels we attach to the things that we see and the feelings that we attach to those labels. And those feelings will dictate how we see our world, how we react to circumstances, and our entire life experience. And that's why two people can be exposed to the same set of circumstances at the same time and react entirely differently. It's because they are communicating it differently to themselves. And I'm very passionate about working in this area, because if you think about it, if you can change the way you think, if you can change the labels you attach to stuff and the meanings attached to the labels, wow, you can change your life for the better pretty quickly. I think you'd agree. And it's very, very powerful stuff. I talk a lot about be, do, have. That is the first step. You have to become more in order to be able to do more. And then when you're able to do more on a higher level, on a better level, you're able to have more, not only for yourself, but to share with others, to give to the world, to make a difference for the better. So anyway, back to the story. Back in those days, most of the time, I was a part-time jobbing, building, selling motor cars, whatever I could to feed a young family, but I was always a singer in a band. I was a musician, and that was my main passion. And I was determined to make it in the music industry. And after a lot of ups and downs and coming very close a few times and having it sort of disappear on me and stuff, I did actually have the opportunity to join a mainstream band, a well-known band that had lots of hits, which meant that I would have to leave the job that I was in, because I decided I was over with the music industry, leave that job and go out and tour the world with this band. And I thought, you know what, when it came down to it, I thought, actually, I can always just get a job. I may never get this chance again. Why not give it one last go? And it went really, really well on the face of it. But here's the thing. After touring for a few months, things were going great. I'd never really toured for a long time before, so I had to find out whether or not my voice would hold up long term. It did. Very lucky. Things went really, really well. Excuse my phone. Things went really, really well. But underneath, that little gremlin that was within me telling me I wasn't good enough was raising its ugly head again and starting to influence the way I was thinking and the way I was feeling. And ultimately, you know, what you think and what you feel, more importantly, about what you're thinking and the level of emotion that's attached to it will determine what shows up in your physical reality. So that's when I really ended up on antidepressants, because things were going so well, and on an inner level I was self-sabotaging because I didn't believe I was worth it. I didn't believe that it could last, because sooner or later the universe would figure me out and take it away again, which was really, really stupid. But anyway, all of this time I'm working on my personal development, but I'm nowhere near as far down the path as of course I am now. You know, we're talking about 30 something years ago. So moving on a little bit, things are going really, really well, but I'm missing my family. 3 children and a wife. We got married in 1980. And yeah, I was literally going all around the world and really not spending enough time with them. And I'm a big, big family man. So I always remember the day I was staying in St Kilda in Australia on tour. Phone rang to my room, and it was my wife, and she'd had some cancerous cells show up, which were apparently quite aggressive. And the good news is she's still with me today, so everything ended up the right way. Here's the thing. I wasn't there for her. I wasn't able to put my arm around her. I wasn't able to cuddle her, tell her it's going to be okay, and support her emotionally. And I felt terrible. I really wanted to do that, so I was really, really upset, really scared for her. She was scared because I wasn't there to support her. And then my young son, Tyler, who's now 33, and he was only young, very young, and he now works with me in Empowered Life as well. So we're talking about a long time ago. He came on the phone and he didn't understand that Daddy was away making money, earning a living for the family. And he just came onto the phone crying and said, "Daddy, why don't you live with us anymore?" Which absolutely destroyed me at the time. And in that one moment, that instant, I realised how much more important than my music was my family, and that I had to get out. Because basically the band I was in, although I'd been in bands that had had major record deals before and been a part of the original band that was writing songs and blah blah blah, all of that, with this band, really, we were playing the hits. I didn't have any royalties coming in. I wasn't an original member. I was a hired hand, which kind of meant really that my entire future was in somebody else's hands, not my own. That was one thing I wanted to change. And the other thing was I wanted to be able to control my own destiny, but also be able to control how much time I could spend with my family and prioritise them. So it took me 2 years. It took me 2 years to finally leave the band. And the reason for that was fear, pure fear-based. Because I was thinking, I'm unable to afford to do this right now. If I leave right now, I can't pay my bills. I won't be able to pay my mortgage, all of that sort of stuff. So I stayed in and stayed in and stayed in. And in the end, it got too much. And I thought, I cannot deal with this any longer. I have to go. And I just left. I burned my bridges. And I just left with no idea what I was going to do. Another powerful, powerful lesson that I've learned. That if you decide you need to make a change in your life, don't have a safety net. Okay? Because having one eye on a safety net is kind of like saying, I don't believe that will work, or there's every chance it won't work, so at least I'll be okay if it doesn't, or when it doesn't. And because of that, you spend half the time focusing on an exit strategy instead of focusing 100% on moving towards what it is that you want to happen. So I burned my bridges. I started a little business. I got a loan. I was towing a 12-foot caravan up to London because there wasn't enough business in the West Country where I was. My kids came with me in the summer holidays. We dropped leaflets, and I built a cleaning company around the southwest in Devon where I lived, but also in the London area as well. And here's the weird thing. Within 6 months, only 6 months, with that focused attitude and that kind of come what may, I'm going to do whatever it takes, I didn't just replace my income, I doubled it and moved into a bigger house. Wow, I had no idea. I had no idea. But it was just that point. I've heard it termed inspirational dissatisfaction. It's when you say, I'm not going to live this way anymore. I want life to go the way I want it to be, and I want to be the architect of that. And you go out there, you step up and you create it. And you don't ever, ever harbour any thoughts of anything going wrong, because you just won't accept it. When you can have that attitude towards anything, you become an unstoppable force. And effectively, I didn't know that at the time, really. I was applying what I was learning in the personal development space and really buying into it and believing it. And then pushing forward with it. But then as we moved on, I was getting more and more and more evidence that this stuff actually worked. So as a result, I built 2 or 3 quite successful businesses, some more than others, and I was always applying this stuff. And that's when really my passion for what I was doing in the personal development space and my level of spirituality, my connection with my spirit became much, much stronger. It became not something I was doing anymore, it became who I am. And when it becomes who you are, you naturally start to want to work with others. Because when something changes your life so profoundly in that way, you really want to tell other people about it so they can do the same thing. So what I've really been doing for the last sort of 25 years or so is exactly that. I've been devoting my time to, I'm very entrepreneurial, but don't get me wrong, I love building businesses outside of personal development and all that sort of stuff. But what enables me to do that is the fact that I've had unadulterated focus on my passion for so very long. That's the key. If you chase 2 rabbits, you're never going to catch one. If you want to catch a rabbit, you just chase one. And you chase that sucker until you catch it. Don't get diverted. Don't get your attention off that rabbit. You have to focus on the very one thing that you want to achieve. Catching that rabbit. Building that business. Whatever it is for you. It's so very important. And so up to the present day, really, I mean, I could sit here all evening, but to be honest with you, I find it quite difficult to talk about myself because a lot of this stuff now feels like a different world, a different life. When people ask me about all the stuff I've done in the music industry, it really feels like that was somebody else now. I don't miss it for a minute because now I have life the way I want it to be. I now know that I'm a creator of circumstance, not a creature of circumstance. I can manifest anything I want, anytime I want, just by applying a few principles and believing in it. And you can do the same, by the way. And it brings me up to the present day, as I say, where I have Empowered Life TV. We're relaunching a podcast very, very soon, Coffee with Robert, in its kind of second or third incarnation now. We keep switching it to improve it every time. And also, I'm excited that we have the Empowered Life Trilogy Suite as well, which is a suite of very powerful, very deep transformational programs that are designed to take you from where you are to where you want to be. But also further than that, for those who are really committed and want to make a difference in the world, it actually takes you to a place where you can take this stuff and teach it to others. Spread the word, change the world, be a force for good in the world, and promote positive change. That's what the Empowered Life Trilogy Suite is all about. And it's been in the planning really for the last 20 years or so, and I'm very, very passionate about it, very excited that it's finally coming to fruition. Because something else that I wanted to do, and I don't see it enough in the personal development space, is I also wanted to create an income for good people out there, whether they be coaches, consultants, people who just love personal development, who want to go out there and teach others that are maybe struggling to stay afloat. And there's a lot of them. They're good people. They're very passionate about doing the right thing and making the positive change in the world, but they're struggling to get momentum in the right direction. This whole thing is about that. It's about giving people the tools to change their own lives and then giving them the tools to go out there and help create change in the lives of others. So if you want to know more about that and you want to stay in the loop and find out exactly when that is released, the day it's released, you'll get known, then below this video you can jump in, join our newsletter. We'll keep you up to date with that, and in the meantime we're obviously going to feed you some really, really powerful personal development and spiritual alignment tips as well to curb your appetite in the meantime. But it's very, very exciting. It's coming very, very soon, and if you want to get in the loop, just join the newsletter down below and we'll be able to do that for you. Now, I can't think of too much else to really talk about on this subject, but I'm encouraging anybody who's got any questions, or if you think I've missed something out, something else that you would like to know about my story or the Trilogy Suite or anything at all, just comment below this video and I read everything. I'll come back to you personally. I promise you that, and I will answer your comment or your question as best I can. So in the meantime, I hope that satisfied the curiosity of one or two people that have been asking for a bit more background on who I am and why I do what I do. Hopefully this will suffice for now, and I've enjoyed making it. It's nice to be able to share some of this story with you, even if it does feel alien to me, because some of it was an awful long time ago. But I'm glad that I did it, and I'm glad if it gives value to one or two of you folks out there as well. So that's it from me for now. I'm going to wrap this video up. I've really enjoyed bringing this out for you, creating this for you. Don't forget, again, hop in on the newsletter if you want to get updated on the Trilogy Suite. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the like button if you've enjoyed the video. Okay? Oh, and why not click the bell icon, and then you get notified every time I do one of these as well. That's it from me for now. Take care. See you soon. Bye.